Hello everyone. We're fixing to get ready to install the Readylift 1.5 inch level for the F-250. Believe it's dated 17 to 21 and up, but we're going to put it on a F-250 Tremor, 2020, 7.3 liter gas. It's about 90 degrees out and feels like 100, so we're gonna see how slow we can go here and try to stay cool while we get this done. I just did measurements on the front. To the top of the wheel well is 42 inches. The rear top of the wheel well is 45, so it's a 3-inch rake. Hope to reduce that down to about 1.5 inches. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so to start with, we're gonna jack up the truck, get it up on jack stands, and of course, if you're gonna do this, I recommend some good, solid, heavy-duty jack stands. I've got some 7-ton, pair of 7-ton here, so that's what we'll put it up on. We'll get the tires off and start with that. Okay, now we've got the got it up on jack stands, got the tire off passenger side. So now we're gonna disconnect the sway bar linkage. There's 4 bolts there, 1, 2, and 2 on the other side, so this can drop down. We're gonna loosen this bracket that holds brake line, 4x4 shift line, and then we should just be able to break this loose, take that perch off, and lower the axle down. And well, all right, so first we'll disconnect the shock mount on the bottom lower shock mount, and then we should be able to drop it down a little bit. So I'll disconnect the linkage, take off the bracket, loosen this shock, and then come back. Doing one side at a time is not going to be an option. Can't get the axle dropped down far enough, so I went ahead and took the tire off the other side, went ahead and did the bracket for the lines, did the shock mount bracket, and did these other side of the bar. So I'm gonna try to drop it down now and see where we're at. And this is pretty much all that comes in the kit. Two of these and 2 bolts. All right, and here it is with the spring removed. Once you get the axle low enough, the spring's just gonna pop right out. A little bit of twist. And then we just gotta remove this perch and the 1 bolt, replace, or not replace, but put the aluminum block up underneath the perch and put the perch on top of it and reinstall them both with the extended bolt that came with the pack. So I'll do that. All right, so we've got both of them on, driver's side, passenger side. Made sure the springs are clocked properly. In other words, they're sitting tips of the springs sitting on the stopper on the perch are right up next to it. And then these should line up. Same thing on this side. Spring end is, it's normally about a 1/4 inch or so from that stopper. Everything lines up. This one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it up. Especially if you're doing it by yourself, bring the jack up a couple of pumps. Check both sides of these shocks to get them lined back up with the mounting brackets as we come up, and then I should be able to put the shock mount bolts in there as I'm coming up without having to stress too much on having to compress the shocks or anything like that. So I'll bring them up, put these shock bolts in, bring them up the rest of the way, put these brackets back on, and then mount these back up, and we'll set it down, see what we got. Okay, had to take a break for a little while and go get some ice water, sit under the fan. The temperature now is 90 something with the relative humidity. It's I think 101 is the feels like temperature. Pretty hot out here, but it's Georgia, late July, so it is what it is. Just have to take a break every now and then. So I just checked the videos and realized I didn't have a very good shot of the shock mount bolts. So I'll do that now so you can see before I mount the sway bar back up. We'll get it all back together and we'll go from there. Had to take the phone in for a little while too. It's so hot that the iPhone quit working, so. All right, let me show you that. All right, so here's the shock mounts, bolts that had to be taken out. The nut, it's got the clip on it, so easy enough to come off and back on. I'm sticking with the Tremor shocks. I know a lot of guys are going with the Fox 2.0s, but I don't know, I'm happy with them so far, so we'll see. Everything else looked pretty good. Mounted the bracket back on for the brake lines and the 4-wheel drive. And so yeah, just gonna put the sway bar mounts back up there and put the tires back on, and I'll do that now. All right, got her packed down, got the wheels retorqued. Everything looks good. I remeasured it and it is 43.5 on the front, 45 in the back to the top of the wheel wells. Did just what I wanted it to do, so looks pretty good. All right, there it is. Not quite level, but I didn't want it completely level. I do tow trailer every other weekend, every 3 weeks. But I think it did what I wanted it to do. So I'm just going to check the steering wheel, see if we need to adjust that. If the steering wheel's off a little bit, we can adjust so I'll check that, and if we need to do that, I'll come back with you on that. All right, took it for a test ride. Everything feels good. The steering wheel is off, I don't know, maybe 1/2 inch, so I'm gonna go ahead and adjust that. It's just enough to probably drive me nuts if I don't. I'll show it to you. Just about that much. With the tires straight. So I'll go ahead and adjust that. Pretty simple, I'll show you. So, right there is our adjustable drag link. Should just be 1, 2, 3. Loosen those 3 up. We'll spin this. It'd be just enough to change it. You know, the reason it moves, the distance from here, from the steering box to the wheel has changed because of the slight lift. So we'll adjust that. Alright, let's see if that steering wheel's where I want it. Alright, so loosen these bolts, spin this clockwise. I went about 1/2 turn clockwise, and then to bring this clamp, you kind of need to loosen the clamp up a little bit. Easiest thing is big flathead screwdriver, loosen and turn so that sleeve stays where you set it. The steering wheel is straight now. Alright, so that's it. Total probably 3.5 hours with everything. The adjustment on the steering wheel and everything, but like I said, I had to take a lot of breaks and stuff, so probably take most people 2.5 hours when it's not 100 and something degrees outside, but it went pretty well. As far as alignment, wheel alignment goes, I don't think 1.5 inches is going to be enough to affect it any, but I will keep an eye on the tread and keep an eye on how it feels. Felt good when I took it for a test drive. I said I don't think it's going to be an issue, but I am getting some new tires here in the next month or two. Going with some Toyos that are actually 36-inch to replace these 35s, and I'll get a alignment when I get that done. So other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. If anybody's got any questions, just let me know. The Readylift 1.5-inch lift kit I got off of Amazon for $90. So everything else was basic tools I had. So all right, thanks guys, bye.